How about you?
I am doing well. Thank you for joining us. We'll give everybody a chance to kind of join in and watch the video live. If you have any questions with what we're discussing, feel free to comment and we'll try to get to your question during the video or we'll get to you after. So Barry, how long have you been in the industry and specifically working with Caruso Homes?
Home building and the different related aspects of the industry. I hate to say it, but almost 40 years now. With Caruso, I think I looked this morning. Our first settlement was in 2009. So 11 years we've been doing Caruso Homes settlements.
Yeah. And you were actually in the construction industry before you ever did settlements, right?
Absolutely. I started out of college a long time ago in a management training program with Ryland Homes, which is a company that's no longer around. It's been bought and renamed. But I actually worked in sales and construction and kind of spent a little bit of time in each segment to learn the industry.
So when people come and buy a Caruso Homes and everything is getting finished up, what steps should the buyer take when they're preparing to go to settlement on their new Caruso home?
That's a great question. So really it starts kicking in with the buyers and us 3 days before settlement. That's when we're getting close. They probably had their first walkthrough on the house, and the government mandates that 3 days before settlement, they get a disclosure sheet that shows what their settlement costs are going to be. And they can look at it and have a good sense of how much money they need to bring to the table. And so that's when we start really locking in real tight with them, because we're leading up to the time that they're actually going to come in and meet with us and autograph the papers and get their keys. So the first element, the 3 days in advance, is how much money do we need to bring the settlement. That's a big part of the preparation, and to arrange to get the money electronically transferred or wired to us, because that's the safest way to transfer money today. So that's the big plan. A lot of the bigger banks now will let you do that right from your desktop, depending on how much money is needed and you're going to wire. Others require that you go into the bank. So that's the big first thing, is prepare and get the money to the place that it needs to be. And it's good to get it there. If we know 3 days in advance how much is needed, get it there right then and there, so that part's behind you.
Mm-hmm.
And then as far as the day of, when you're coming in, we basically just need a really well rested signing hand, because you're going to sign your name a whole bunch of times, and some current valid photo ID that's not expired, because we're notarizing things and the lender wants to make sure that the right person showed up to buy the house.
That's right. If you got married, make sure we know you got married before you come to settlement and you changed your name way before. And I know you guys have plenty of pens on site too to help with all of the signing.
Yeah, lots of pens, and we kill a lot of trees. So.
So what is your favorite part about, being a title company and helping people, with that last step?
Particularly with your buyers, the time I really love is the time we spend together at the settlement table, because the house is done. It's in great shape. It's been a long process for the people to go through, and they're very, very excited to get their new home, to move in. They've got a lot of plans, but we sit at the table, and there's been a lot of information, and there's certain things that we want to make sure that they're educated on and understand the documents that they're signing. And I'll give you an example. One thing we always stress when we're at settlement, because 99.99% of your buyers are buying their dream home. It's going to be their primary residence. And particularly in Maryland, there's something called the homestead credit. And they got to get a letter from the State Department of Assessment and Taxation about somewhere between 30 and 60 days after they buy their house to register their home in the homestead program. And that caps the rate of property tax increase. And that's literally compounded over 10 years of owning a house. it's thousands of dollars in savings. So those are the type of little things that we try to educate them on, so they know walking away that things to be on the lookout for and other things that they need to do. But our role is kind of, we're the honest broker. We get the contract from you, we get the lender's instructions, and then we get the money and we pull it all together and make sure the settlement statement reflects the contract and the lender's instructions, and that everybody gets properly paid. And most importantly, to the person that comes here, we hand them a set of keys, send them off to their new home.
Yeah, that's a great moment. And we want to give a huge shout out to Deb Clark, who works at Caruso Homes, because she is huge with helping you get everything to the settlement table.
Deb's our rock star. I mean, she keeps a tremendous number of balls up in the air, and the organizational skills required to keep all the contracts straight, get everybody here and on time. And she does it with such an even keel. And she's really got a passion for your buyers. So it makes it a lot of fun.
She really does. Deb is amazing. So one of the other big things I wanted to ask you, with what has changed with the settlement process, with everything that's going on, with the stay-at-home order and COVID-19, and what changes has Capital Title taken to ensure the safety of their employees and customers?
Sure. Well, one, the government has considered what we do as essential part of the economy, so we're still open. Now, the difference today, there's really two parts of a settlement. We're, one, giving a lot of information and answering a lot of questions, a resource that the average person only does a transaction related to buying, selling, or refinancing a house once every 7 years. And I may do 70 or 80 in a busy month. So as I tell the staff here, we need to be patient and thorough with the people who come in, because what's easy for us to remember is not secondhand, is firsthand knowledge to them. They don't do it very often. So to me, the most important part of a settlement is making sure that everything's thoroughly explained and all the buyer or borrower's questions are answered. So before we did that face-to-face, one of the changes that we've made is right now I get the set of documents in advance and I scan it and email it to your buyers, and we go over it on the phone. And if they've got a real estate agent involved, we invite them to join the call. Everybody's got the same set of documents in front of them. It's a PDF. We password protect it because there's some private information on it, but we can all stay on the same page, and we walk through the documents just like we're at the settlement table together. So we have the time to answer the questions and make sure that people get the thorough understanding of what each document means and the process that they're going through. And from there, I kind of take the extra step when I get off the phone, and I get those little sign here post-its that I've gone through a lot of them, and I put them on every page. So the next meeting, for both our benefit, we are able to have social distancing, whether they come into our office. Some lenders require funding approval where we've got to email out some of the documents to the lender before we're allowed to give them the keys, and make sure the lender kind of checks our work, make sure we did a good job. And if that's the case, they'll come in, and actually in the room that I'm in right now, I'll have the documents sitting on the table waiting for them, along with pens and all the stickies, and they can come and sit and sign, and I can watch them through the glass window. And at the end, I'll grab the documents, we'll check and make sure all the signatures are there. If the lender needs them, we'll shoot them off to the lender to get their approval, and then we can hand off the keys and get the people headed towards a new home. There's been times where somebody wasn't feeling great or they had kids with them, and we brought the documents down to their car, and they just sat in the car. We watched them through the window, sign everything, check, made sure we're okay, and then ran them back upstairs if the lender needed them, faxed them off. If not, we get them their keys. So we're trying to do two things. We're trying to make sure that they get the care and attention they need and a thorough explanation of all the documents that are being signed. And the second part we're doing is trying to keep everybody safe when we're actually capturing the signatures, and do that in a fashion that makes it as easy as possible for them and as quick as possible for them. So we've had good luck with it. And I think it's working well for everybody.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm sure it makes people feel a lot comfortable, more comfortable with everything, everything that's going on. This is a great moment. We want you to move into your Caruso home. And we appreciate everything that you do to help, that final last step to get them in their home. And if there was anything else you wanted to say about, settling, if not, thank you so much for coming on and speaking to me live for everyone to listen to.
No, I appreciate the opportunity. It's a little bit trying time for all of us. And I think what we try to do most here is, we all have our individual challenges, but to be in between houses and trying to move on top of that, we need to be mindful of that and be really flexible and do the absolute best we can to help people with their transition. Even to the point, I give them extra copies of the settlement sheets to keep in their car. Because believe it or not, moving into their own house, just like getting groceries, is an essential activity. So it's something that they're allowed to do. Moving their personal belongings, moving companies are allowed to come. So if people feel comfortable about that. But the main thing we want to do is just try to make it as easy as possible and keep the process working, because everybody's looked forward to this day for a long time, and to getting to their new house. And it's an exciting time. And in spite of the challenges we're facing, we want to keep it being, as much as we can, the celebration that it should be for them.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time, Barry, and I hope you have a great evening.
All right. It's great talking to you. Take care.
All right, everybody,
All right.
stay safe and keep tuned on our Facebook channel, and we will have more videos coming up soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.